Good morning, everyone. Can you hear in the back? Is it pretty good? They're not answering. Maybe they can't hear. I always think that question's kind of funny. Can you hear? Because if you can't, you won't hear the question, but one of those koans. So thank you for coming here this morning. We all have lots of, actually too many choices of what to do with our precious, rare human lives. So you decided to be with the song in practice. Yay. Else, who would I talk to? Bill and Dora. Is there anyone here who's just your first time? Okay. Well, welcome back, old timers. And so I don't have to say I'm Zopa and this is Bill and Dora. And probably don't have to tell you what we do the first hour and the second hour. Good. Yet, each time it's quite good, perhaps at least 1 hour a day. Or perhaps at the beginning of each hour of every day, thinking about what's the purpose of this life. Here we are with a body and a mind entwined together until the body ceases. The mind will not cease. 5 senses will cease, and certain mental consciousnesses will cease at that time. But the fundamental clear light consciousness goes on, with whatever karmic affected by, actually covered by the karma we have created through our body, speech, and mind in this life, or obscured, I should say. So, good that we strive to do good in the world, that we work to see and experience what our minds are doing, what our speech is doing, what our bodies are doing, because no one else is going to manage them for us. Even they put us in jail because we're so crazy sometimes. Still, we're in there with our own mind. Even we're in a palace and we have everything pleasurable still. It's our own garden of our mind that we need to train. So that's what the Buddha was all about. He said, I teach 2 things: what is suffering and how to end it. And where that workshop occurs is right here. Nowhere else. In a way, that's a very good thing, because then we have some opportunity to have effect, to move in a direction that can lead life after life to a more supple, suitable kind of physical and mental existence, supple and suitable in order to end suffering. So that's cool. We've got some opportunity here. And then, of course, I don't even have to describe to you what the challenge is, because you live with your own mind, as I do. And it can be moment to moment quite an interesting trip. Like, oh, that's rising jealousy. Oh, that's rising discouragement. Oh, that's rising joy. Oh, that's rising clinging to fun. Or that's rising wanting to get lost in 1,000 concepts. So just seeing that is the end of suffering. Just seeing it has no kind of permanence, solidity, individualism. It does have effects. We can see those because of our interdependent, deep interdependent nature. But look right at it. Every single moment of the past is totally gone. We get fooled and think, oh no, I have memories. Your memory is a brand new thought about the past that likely doesn't match too much of what happened. If you have siblings and you talk about what happened in your families in the past, it's quite interesting. You were in the same house, in the same situation, and they experienced it quite differently. Or even your partner, you argue about who said what 3 days ago. It's all gone. You'll never pin it down and prove it. That's a good thing. That impermanence is a good thing. What's difficult is we don't let it be impermanent. We try to make it something else, right? Then we're in a little trouble. Okay, well that's enough for the moment. Let's do our recitations, remind ourselves, and simply to have the strength of chanting together, which is quite a beautiful thing. Because when I do this at home alone, it just doesn't have the power it does here with you.
Until the summit of enlightenment is reached, I and all beings go for refuge to the sources of true refuge. I will now practice the absorption of calm abiding in order to release all beings from their particular suffering and establish them in lasting peace and happiness. Until the summit of enlightenment is reached, I and all beings go for refuge to the sources of true refuge. I will now practice the absorption of calm abiding in order to release all beings from their particular suffering and establish them in lasting peace and happiness. Until the summit of enlightenment is reached, I and all beings go for refuge to the sources of true refuge. I will now practice the absorption of calm abiding in order to release all beings from their particular suffering and establish them in lasting peace and happiness.
So I brought something to share from our very lively and forward-moving, I would say, mind training group. You're all invited each Thursday evening. It will happen this next Thursday evening. And we're using this amazing book called Essential Mind Training. It's in the bookstore here. And I often turn to it when I feeling not so inspired or confused or frankly not so drawn to do calm abiding, because I like concepts. Even though a lot of times ultimately they're not so helpful. But this book, just the introduction alone, which describes so much about the mind training tradition, I thought I would share a few things to inspire our calm abiding, to inspire the bodhicitta. That's the foundation of doing it, so that we, of course, know we're not sitting in calm abiding to get some kind of individual peace. That just doesn't exist. Why? Because we're so interconnected. Anything we do affects others. You couldn't get individual peace even if you tried and you built a cement cage around yourself and you just tried only for yourself. The interconnectedness would still occur. Thoughts go out and affect. So there's this wonderful kind of, to me, sort of steps toward that summit of enlightenment, since most of us don't have the conditions in this life to go do a long solitary retreat in which one might experience and stabilize, that kind of ultimate view. But we're moving toward it in this life. So we can be happy about that. Okay. So let's see where I want to start. Right here, I think. On the spiritual path, we meet all kinds of circumstances, positive and negative. To be successful, we need a way to remain steadfast in the face of difficulties. The 7-point mind training puts it this way. When the world and its inhabitants are filled with negativity, and I like to put the word suffering in there because negativity can confuse us. When the world and its inhabitants are filled with suffering, transform adverse conditions into the path of enlightenment. And this is going to be the theme of Khenpo Lodro Donyo's Friday night teaching. Transform adverse conditions into the path. It's a fascinating kind of koan. Here's a little example. Say we slandered someone. No, say we are slandered by someone with no justifiable basis. We can see that situation as a precious opportunity to cultivate patience, forbearance. If we are attacked by someone, we can view that assailant with compassion, seeing that he or she is possessed by the demon of anger. The masters of mind training teachings extend this principle to all possible situations. So that means every situation, no matter what the so-called outer conditions are, this opportunity is there. They speak of taking on to the path good luck, bad luck, joy, pain, wealth, poverty. In a beautiful stanza, the Kashmiri master Sakyasri, who came to Tibet in the 13th century, wrote, "When happy, I dedicate my virtues to all others. May benefit and happiness pervade all of space. When suffering, I take on the pains of all beings. May the ocean of suffering become dry." When we learn to relate to all things in this radically transformed manner, we possess something very precious. We're able to transform every single circumstance, whether positive or negative, into a condition that is conducive to enhancing compassion. No wonder the early mind training masters compare this to holding an indestructible diamond, the all-powerful sun, or to the mythological wish-granting tree. So once we have this, we can be anywhere with anyone, any circumstances, and transform it into moving towards enlightenment. There's nothing in the way of doing that, except whatever's in our mind. So we engage in calm abiding to get to know our minds. And I want to just read this one last quote by Chekhov. Because of multiple aspirations, meaning his own aspirations, which we have and share, because of multiple aspirations, I have defied the tragic tale of suffering. I love that. I have defied the tragic tale of suffering and have taken instructions to subdue my self-grasping. Now, even when I die, I will have no remorse. So, calm abiding is a part of this, getting to know exactly what's going on in our minds, what our patterns of suffering are, and we'll see them rise as we become settled in, silent, watching, experiencing. And at moments, if we get settled down, which will happen inevitably, you sit, quiet, focus, the settling occurs. Then we see what the mind goes to, the habits. Then we see if we don't follow those, they go. That's their nature. Oh. Then there can be a little opening to perhaps get a flash of what's under all that. What is all that existing within? So don't try to do any of that. Don't try to meditate, they say. Just be in the natural, original mind, open, spacious, non-judgmental, nothing to do. Yet we're aware. We don't go to sleep. We see if we're excited. We don't push anything away. We don't beckon anything. We don't hold on to anything. And we do this with some breaks, so enjoy your calm abiding. a stretch if you need one. relax, stay alert, see where your mind is, have a little stretch.
By this nature, may I quickly realize Mahamudra and establish all beings without exception in this state.
Thank you all. So, I assume we have some announcements. Hopefully not too repetitive, because you've all been here before and you probably know that everything is online. Please do register for Khenpo Lodro Donyo's teachings if you plan to come. And a couple sort of housekeeping type things I know about. One is at the back of the community Sangha room, whatever we're calling that, we haven't settled quite. There's a table full of sheets, towels, pillowcases, pots, pans, many things from Monroe that we just got all unpacked, and you're free to look through. Some of them are quite nice, and take whatever you would like, and the rest will be headed to Goodwill very soon. After today, Linda, or? We'll see. Okay, so, but do go through and see if you need, I think almost all the sheets are twin. That was the size of beds we had at Monroe, so. But there's some quite nice things. The other thing is reminding people about the community membership drive. I'm pointing at the beautiful calligraphy back there. If you like coming here and you consider yourself part of the community, please become a sustaining member, which means giving something every month, signing up for an every month thing that, of course, helps us plan our budget and keep the lights on, as they say. And if you're already a sustaining member, maybe just think about, as one of my teachers said, how many times do you go to Starbucks in a week? How much does that cost you? Could you cut it in half? And instead of having a $4 drink every day, maybe giving 20 more a month to the Dharma. That's what I know. We all know about Khenpo Lodro Donyo coming, and so please rejoice, sign up for the teachings, show up to help ahead of time. Linda is right here, and Rosemary, I don't see her here today, but coordinating. What's that? Yeah, okay. So, but those are the ones to get in touch with. For any amount of time, you can come over for 2 hours and help clean, or an hour, sort something, whatever. So there is a lot to do. Anything, Dora, and then Diane.
I was just, isn't there a specific work party also at SCOL on the 26th, Saturday, for cleaning out at our retreat land? And is there any other, there aren't any other specific days for here?
Not yet.
because we had one yesterday, and it was a swarm of activity
Yes.
here.
Yeah, and it's quite fun working together. So if you get a notice about a swarm and you can come, do it, because it's a joy. Diane.
I've been asked to let everybody know that we have most of the books available that are relevant to Rinpoche's teachings. They're out for sale on the counter in the bookstore. Please feel free to browse and to buy ahead of time. It helps KCC if you do purchase them ahead of time. And also this week, some very generous person donated about 100 brand new books and beautiful Dharma items. And so they're out for sale all throughout the bookstore, so please take a look. And we have brand new chocolate. So thanks, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for all your work. Anything else?
One other thing, we're hoping very much to have some time just for question and answers in a similar fashion that we did with Ringu Tulku, where the different practice groups can have a chance to put together some questions. And so there's some groups it's easy. We already have lists and whatnot. Other groups we don't. So, in particular, people who are taking part in the Chenrezig practice, also the Mahamudra practices, please, we'll try this Wednesday evening to spend some time after meditation to sort through what questions might be pressing for people, and I'm going to send something out to everybody that I can figure out is connected to the Mahamudra practice program in some way to request questions as well. So we're trying to get that organized. Thank you.
And we're doing that, of course, for the mind training group, the youth group, children's program. Each will be together, not meeting with him each in little pod, but all together at a time for those questions. But it's quite good for the group to think about and come up with what are our questions for Khenpo Lodro Donya. The only other thing I can think of is please rejoice in the fact that the children's program opened and we had 10 children last time. Oh my God. Luckily, there were 4 of us down there.
You need 6 more volunteers.
So right now, yes, we need 6 more volunteers, and we're putting a waiting list now for parents. But if you know a parent and you know of some little ones, the range right now is 11 to like 3. And they're all cooperative and just so much fun down there. And Mary and Carolyn are doing a great job. And I'm helping out mostly because of my attachment to my 2 grandsons who are coming. So, to be honest. So anyway, it's wonderful. Well, we're starting very young, maybe having some people who in 20 years will be sitting up here, or even 15 years or 10. Okay.
Or up here.
Yeah, or up here. Please, yes, please come up here. I won't be around that long. Okay, have a nice tea downstairs and pick up household items.